Hi guys, and welcome back to another one of my blogs that are based around the what is the best of. And in this case, it's what is the best in Brickell, and particularly what is the best luxury condo in Brickell. It's very easy to talk about Brickell and talk about the general market, and there's a lot of stuff under $1 million, and unfortunately right now we're in a process of correction. So there's a lot of options in SLS and Bond and SLS Lux and Brickell Heights and all these buildings. There's a lot of product, but what I want to focus on in this case is what is the luxury buildings in Brickell. And Brickell, when I say luxury, I'm very loose here in the term, because Brickell doesn't have a lot of luxury. It has a lot of luxury when you get to the Miami Beach area, you get some in Coconut Grove, you get Key Biscayne. You don't get a lot of luxury in Brickell. But if I am to focus on luxury in Brickell, and with that term it's generally over $1 million, but in other neighbourhoods it might be 2 or 3. There's really a few condos to mention, and there's a lot of product. I mean, Brickell really is, it's all condos. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Carbonell, and Carbonell is arguably the best luxury condo in Brickell, and sales actually reflect it. So when we look at sales within 2018, if you look at units that have sold over $1 million, we've got penthouses in Carbonell which I sold, and you've got some lower floor units. Why is it really the best? Well, first thing is it's extremely well put together. It's not a cheap put it up in a year kind of condo. It's got very thick walls. It's got a large number of people who live all year round. The residences are actually of a good size, and when you go up you have a lot of 3 and 4 bedroom units. You have some 2s. You don't have that many 1 bedrooms, but it's an extremely well put together, well positioned with some great views. The building sits on the edge of Brickell Quay, and Brickell Quay really is a self-contained island which is never going to get really built on. The views that you have now from Brickell Quay are the same views that you're going to have in 5 or 10 or 20 years from now. Carbonell has a very established association. It has maintenance fees of 52 cents a square foot, which is very low. It's much lower than some of the other buildings. So that is one of the reasons why it's up there. It's financially, economically a very sound investment compared to other buildings. But if you go up to, say, the penthouses, you're around $3 million. And then you've got a lot of other units floating between 1 and 2. Outside of Carbonell, and again, go and read some more details of the building through the blog, you've got buildings like Jade. Jade is an Ugo Colombo building. Ugo Colombo is an architect who's very well established in Miami, and his products have been well received over the years because he builds with an architectural eye. He doesn't build to just build as many units. He tries to make the thing aesthetically beautiful, both inside and out. The floor plans are of the right dimensions. It's not cramped. It's a nice building. It has some great water views. It's not been without its problems, but it seems to have established itself as a desirable building within Brickell. And if you look at this year's sales in Brickell, you'll see Jade is definitely up there on the list of, the 20 most expensive units sold in Brickell have engaged with some of the sales within Jade. Third on the list is Four Seasons. Four Seasons, again, has a large amount of service and amenities, as you would expect from a Four Seasons building. It has a very nice gym. It has a very nice, the gym is actually the Equinox gym, so it doesn't really get any better than that. But the pool, it has a nice pool, very open, very light and bright, has some nice views, and this obviously was one of the top of the food chain buildings. Definitely worth looking at. Again, some good units. Again, not all units are the same, so you've got to be very conscious about that. Moving on, the new breed, and I want to touch on those because there's a couple of new buildings that have come into the fray. The first one I want to talk about is Flatiron. Flatiron of recent has had a record-breaking sale, a $13.3 million sale, which is the highest we've seen in Brickell for a very long time. Again, Ugo Colombo, this guy keeps turning up in conversation because he does build a good product. So Ugo Colombo design building, very much like the Flatiron in New York. It sits on the cusp of 2 streets and is a kind of a triangular shaped project. The very high floors have some great views. Lower down, some more obstructions to deal with, but overall it looks like it's going to be a good project, being well received. Definitely until the doors are open and we can see inside, we're not going to be 100% sure of how it's going to turn up, but compared to the other product in Brickell, it's definitely getting the attention, and justifiably it seems so, of some serious buyers. On from that, coming into Brickell City Centre. Brickell City Centre, I'm kind of torn good and bad because it is very centrally located. If you want to know what is the heart of Brickell, it's Brickell City Centre. It's where you have great restaurants, it's where you have the cinema, and you do get some units with some great water views. but it's a big project. There's a lot of units. You've got to be careful about what you buy in there. There is a large amount of product back into the market. And then moving on from that, keeping in the line of the new buildings that are being put up and that have been put up, you have Una, which is at the far end of Brickell, and this is really on that cusp between Brickell and Coconut Grove. So the downside there is it's a bit of a walk down into the heart of Brickell, but the building will have some beautiful views. It is a new project. It is showing to have some great finishes, some good-sized units. Certainly it's a higher dollar per square foot, and it's going to be competing really with Echo. So we're going to see how it competes with Echo. Again, Echo is the last one I'm going to mention, and I'm torn with Echo because I've seen some units I really don't like, and I've seen some units that I do think are potentially interesting and could be worthy of your investment dollar. Just like I always say, and I'll say it again, you've got to be careful. You've got to go line by line, unit by unit, because even within the building, you have good and bad. So read my blog in detail, pick up the phone, give me a call, like us through Facebook, go on our Instagram. You can speak to us through our website. You can also just pick up the phone and call me. You can send me a text, easy guy to find. We always like to talk real estate. And if you want to check out our other blogs on what are the best condo in Coconut Grove, the best condo on the beach, because remember, neighborhoods don't just work in isolation. They don't sell in a vacuum. They're affected and they affect